Hello, welcome to the show. Today we have an amazing show for you today. We got a lot to discuss. I'm Chris.
I'm Nick. And we're here with the Conjured Universe.
Real quick, before we get into where we left off, as we said, a couple of ordinary dudes, work basic 9-to-5 jobs, never read one of these Harry Potter books up until now.
We've seen all the movies, and they're pretty good movies, but, we thought we'd give the books a shot.
So we're going to discuss various things, book by book, chapter by chapter. So without any further ado, let's get into it. Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, Chapter 2.
All right. Well, the chapter starts out with basically an overview of the Dudleys House with Dudley, and how his picture's just everywhere, and his parents love him so much. Yet Harry's not anywhere to be seen, like as if he's just invisible in the house.
Those for you that don't know, we go from Harry being left on the doorstep of Chapter 1, and we jump ahead 10 years into Chapter 2. I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, not much on, Harry's, early childhood, but it must have been pretty boring.
Yeah, it seems that way. I would actually like to know more about the life between when he was dumped off at the doorstep and up until now, 10 years later.
But that was a shock for them to open the door and be like, it's a baby.
It's a baby. Oh boy, it's him, isn't it? I could imagine. I can imagine what that must have been like. Well,
imagine all the frantic shopping.
If they even shop for it, they probably just give him their
a burlap sack.
A burlap sack of leftovers and said, "Here you go. Go into the closet and stay there."
Yeah, his room was actually a cupboard under the stairs. It actually sounds kind of neat because it's his own little space. But I mean, it had to be a little bit miserable.
I could imagine that they simply just didn't want him there, and the more and more I read into this chapter, the more and more I just hated the Dursleys.
Yeah, well, they're basically pretending Harry isn't there, and Dudley is spoiled beyond belief.
I think there's a little bit more going on there. I think that there's an issue going on there, and the author really drives it home that this kid is seemingly, he likes to bully Harry. Probably bully other people at school and things like that. And he just goes home to mommy and daddy, cries that, somebody bothered him, and everything's suddenly okay. They buy him random things. It's almost like there's a personal touch there from the author. Like it almost comes across as the author is trying to hit home with something a little bit, because I almost feel that personal touch. I don't know if you agree, Nick, but
yeah, it almost feels like maybe she's taking it from a little experience, but I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know anything about the author. I don't want to speculate on things like that, but I just kind of felt to me like there was a personal touch with.
It was very well laid out how much that Dudley was spoiled and Harry was shut away.
Exactly, and I don't know. The more the more I read into this chapter, the more and more I just didn't care for the Dudleys. But yet Harry knew it. He knew he wasn't welcome there. He knew he wasn't supposed to be there, and he chose to engage his battles when he would choose to argue accordingly. It's almost as
pick his battles.
Exactly, and that is an extremely hard thing to learn when you don't have anything to reference it against.
Right. Well, just one of the things they were talking about is it's Dudley's birthday, and they're going to go to the zoo. They don't want to leave Harry alone at the house. They're afraid he's going to burn the house down. They even talked about, let's just leave him in the car. And Vernon's like, I'm not going to leave him in the car. The car's brand new. Like, they're afraid Harry's going to ruin something, or just, he didn't seem like he's a bad kid to, do that kind of thing.
That's the vibe I got, and it just, I'm just like, really? You don't even want to bring the poor kid to the zoo so his spoiled cousin could have a ton of fun with. If I'm correct, he went with a friend or two to the zoo. And
his Pierce,
Pierce, that's right,
Dudley's friend.
That's right, Pierce, and they're off having the time of their life, and Harry's getting leftover ice cream because it didn't have enough. Was it
Sprinkles. I
sprinkles
think it
or
was
candy
sprinkles.
or
Yeah,
something? Yeah,
something.
something like that. I thought of a McFlurry when I heard of that. I'm like, oh man, that sounds quite delicious.
Well, they mentioned like right after that or before or around that Harry has weird things that have been happening to him. His hair got cut and it grew back the next day. Uh, he was gonna get one of Dudley's old sweaters and it shrank and shrank and shrank until it was the size of a doll's. And he was being chased by Dudley and his friends, and he just appeared on the top of a roof. And just random things have been happening to him, and he doesn't know why.
That's almost a sign that that the Dudley's parents and the Dursleys. That is so hard to say. The Dudley Dursley and trying to
Yeah.
separate the two is just wow. But anyway, I mean, it's like they know that he's got these wizard abilities and things like that. So I kind of
Well, they
get
actually
it.
mentioned Harry had a dream about a magic motorcycle, and Vernon got mad. How did they know about the magic motorcycle? How did they know that Harry got brought on it? Because weren't they asleep at the time? How did they know about it?
They were supposed to be asleep, and I don't know if we'll get any insight to that later, but
Probably not.
probably not. But just a quick sidetrack. Thank you for everyone who has liked and commented and subscribed. We appreciate that. But
Well,
yeah, I don't know if we're going to get any insight from that.
We'll see. But there was at the zoo. There actually was an incident where
with the snake, right?
the snake. Yeah.
Oh, that was cool. That I'm like, okay, this I kind of remember that a little bit from the movie.
Harry just talking to the snake like it's another person.
Yep, just another person. Glass of the enclosure disappears. Snake just slithers off, gives him a thank you, and
Slithers on off.
Slithers on off into the sunset, so to speak. I thought that was kind of cool. And of course, Dudley and his
Pierce
just super jealous. I want to talk to the snake too. Like I seriously felt like choking this kid.
Well, one of the notes I was gonna make was at the end of the book they basically say how hard Harry's life was, but I think honestly it'll come in handy later on. I think it shows a direction of his character where Dudley is a crying wimp who cries and gets upset and whines when he doesn't get what he wants, whereas Harry is a better character. He never once says about how he wants to beat up Dudley or beat up his friends or become stronger than them or anything like that. He just wants to be left alone. And I think later on it's good character building for him, as rough it is as it is.
Oh, it is, and we know it and things like that, and that's okay. I mean, it's that humble beginnings thing I talked about and briefly touched on in chapter 1. It's the humble beginnings things, and I think Dumbledore knew that sending him over there.
I know I'm pretty sure he didn't know the Dursleys were going to be that hard on him.
I don't know. They apparently know where he stays because we'll talk about that a little bit later on in the next chapter. But I think that they know what's going on because they could clearly see it.
I'm pretty sure they're keeping an eye on him.
I mean, it seems that way. That maybe that's why nothing like super seriously bad ever happens to him when this kid is throwing a temper tantrum. Another thing that caught my attention is the Dursleys just told Harry his parents died in a car crash.
Yeah, I mean, how do you explain what happened?
That's
a car crash
kind of where that motorcycle reference came from.
Yeah. I under the circumstances, that's probably the most believable thing they could have told him.
But I don't know. Harry being Harry, I mean, he's a pretty smart kid. Being brought up in an environment like that where you would just have that, I would imagine, feel nothing but like rage and want to.
He could have turned the other way.
People, he could have easily turned the other way.
Oh yeah,
but he wisely knew, for the most part, when to pick his battles.
And only went so far as to he there's only a few things I think that he said that would be considered fighting back, but
well, basically any question was considered fighting back.
Yeah, and he was he was a small kid. So it's not like he really do that much, except
I was just asking if there was any extra Skittles. Why? This wasn't necessary.
Yeah, he.
That wasn't part of the book. I just had to say that. I'm sorry, folks.
Yeah,
Oh, look, a Baskin Robbins. I said be quiet.
Yeah, basically.
That's basically what it was. Like, oh, no, we're just passing a Baskin Robbins. I didn't ask for anything. I was just saying. Then
they seemed not to want to even hear him. Yeah, they didn't even want to
half the time they didn't even act like he was in earshot. It was
pretend he's not there.
It sounded like it was a pretty bad situation, and I really felt for him in those years, even though we don't have all the information and things like that between when he was basically an infant all the way up till he was around 10, 11 years old. So
yeah, it's almost his 11th birthday. He's getting there, but
he's getting up there, and we know that's around the time you should start hearing from
Dumbledore,
and why can I not remember the
McGonagall?
Yeah, that
Hagrid.
Wow, Hagrid. All the characters
all the main
already
characters,
read about.
Yeah, they're no big deal. They're just
Yeah, I got that short-term memory. Read the chapter 3 times just to retain a little bit of information. That's okay though. I can read these chapters again and again, and I'll still be entertained by them.
Yeah, they're just something like just every little bit you dig into it. There's a little bit more information there. It's good stuff. But I think that about wraps it up.
I think you're right. Like I said, if anyone has any other insight, let us know in the comments below.
And we recently set up a Patreon. Give it a check. It's Conjuring Universe, and just show us your support.
Very nice. Also, we're going to switch our format a little bit. We're going to go from 1 chapter a week to 2 or 3 chapters a week. And to kind of expedite this a little bit more, we're also going to add on other book series as well. So be on the lookout for all that.
Yeah. Any other questions, just send us a message, and we'll be happy to reply to you.
Thanks for listening, and we will see you for chapter 3.
Take care, guys.